out there, it's David Dufort again from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Today's video is another part of my series of videos really dedicated toward captive agents, maybe those who are looking at a captive agency to work with, or possibly who already work with a captive agency and are just fearful of what it would be like if they moved on to an independent scenario, even though they may see the obvious advantages. So these videos are designed to kind of dispel some of the myths and rumors that a lot of these captives companies spike their Kool-Aid with. And so hopefully you'll find it useful and entertaining as well as informative. So the first question I have today, and really the only question, is about death claims and the importance of death claims. One particular captive company promotes to its agents as well as its clients how it pays 99% of all death claims within 24 hours. And this is a pretty remarkable statistic, again, on the surface. The way these companies work is frustrating. They throw a number out there that we're supposed to be impressed by. However, the statistics tend to be incomplete. They're incomplete ideas or thoughts or concepts. Because a business, if I told you I made $100 billion last year, that may impress you. But then if you looked at the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement, and I've lost cash flowed negative 10 million, that shows you how bad my business model sucks. I'm not making money. I'm losing money. Even though I'm creating a lot of revenue, I'm not doing my job as a business owner to pay for the expenses of operating the business. I'm actually operating at a loss. So there's an incomplete picture when you look at one particular statistic or ratio. You have to look at the whole thing. So this is what I'm going to attempt to fight back against in this video and dispel some of the common BS myths that I hear out there. So back to this company that claims the payout. I'm sorry, it's not 99%, it's 100% of all death claims within 24 hours. So here's what they leave out. And they do it just like the guaranteed issue carriers that we run into selling Final Expense. It's just so frustrating. They make it sound so good on TV to our clients like Colonial Penn or MetLife, but then they don't necessarily reveal with full transparency there's a 2-year waiting period. So with this particular company, one thing they exclude is the reality that all carriers are going to have a contestability period within their products. It doesn't matter if they issue the business as applied for and it's approved. It doesn't matter if it's with this particular captive company or it's with any independent agency or independent distribution carrier. They all are going to contest any death claim that occurs within the first 2 years, no matter if it's something that they issued and it was approved for and they're completely clean and don't go to the doctor. Why do they do that? Because you have to understand the carrier's perspective. When they underwrite a simplified issue product, and it doesn't matter if it's simplified issue, it could be fully underwritten, it's always incomplete. There's always a risk, and they try to manage the risk as best as they can. But there's possibility for misrepresentation on the application that doesn't get caught by underwriting, and there's also the possibility that the information they used was not up to date when they did the application. So what happens is that these particular carriers have the right granted by the Department of Insurance in each state to investigate any kind of death claim that occurs, and to determine, after further investigation, if the death claim is viable and therefore it should be paid. So my whole explanation here is that there's not one carrier that gets away with not doing contestability. I mean, they don't have to do it, but they're going to do it because here's the reality. If you write a particular carrier and you get it approved as level, you may inadvertently have somebody who just got back from the hospital and got a diagnosis of terminal cancer. It may not be up to date yet, and how could it? I mean, unless it's instantaneous, I don't think it's that good. But the potential is there to get an app in before the information is updated on the Medical Information Bureau as well as the prescription database. And so that deal would be approved for. And then imagine 6 to 12 months later, that particular person dies with terminal cancer. Are they going to pay the claim because at that time they didn't have the correct information? No, they're going to go ahead and investigate that claim and make sure that everything was accounted for at the time of the application and that there was no misrepresentation, whether it was intentional or unintentional. And then only then, after that, they'll pay the claim. So, that's how insurance works. They have to manage risk, because if they take too much risk on and they lose money, then the products get pulled and we don't have anybody to work with. Again, I'm not shilling for the companies per se. I'm just saying that this is a reality that the companies do to manage their business model. And captive companies are no different from independent companies. So when you hear them say, we pay all of our death claims, there should be a little asterisk by it that says these would be the non-contestable claims. And the truth is, all carriers pay non-contestable claims anyway. They're required to. They can't investigate a claim after 2 years and deny the claim based off of misrepresentation. Now, they can in circumstances where fraud was involved. I can't give you a particular example, but if somebody misrepresented their health unintentionally or even intentionally, the 2 years after it, they have to pay the claim. They cannot investigate and pull records to come to a determination if they should or shouldn't pay. They have to pay, and it's just a matter of time in which they pay. Now, this particular captive company does pay the claim in 24 hours. Most carriers, some of them pay that quick. Others pay in a week or two. Some need 3 to 5 weeks. They're usually looking for a death certificate. The truth is, most funeral homes understand this and will work with you. They'll get things set up. They'll take control of the policy and become the beneficiary. So they know they're going to get paid. It's just like having a check come in 30 days. You just got to wait for it. The money is there. It's an asset that they can depend upon, because these insurance companies do it all the time, and these funeral homes set it up like that every single day of their existence. So it's okay if you don't have the money within 3 to 5 weeks, and most people understand that. They'll get the money eventually, and they'll be buried, and they won't sit in the fridge somewhere while the money is waiting to be coming around. Now, if it's non-contestable, it doesn't matter again. If it's the independent carrier or if it's the captive carrier, they're all going to have to wait. And the funeral home makes a determination if they're going to take the policy as a contestable, potentially deniable claim, or if they're going to have to require money from your deceased prospect's family. And again, nobody's going to pay, at least for a couple months till it's getting investigated. But the truth is that independent carriers pay the death claim in contestability as long as there's no misrepresentation. I've had a couple of claims this year that were paid for that when I took them out, they died within the first 2 years. It took a couple months to pay, but they did pay. Brand name carriers, Transamerica, Lafayette Life, made good on their promise to protect the families. At the time, these people were in great shape, but they unfortunately, tragically died earlier than expected. But the important thing is they paid. And even though it was contestable, they did the job. So the video here is really designed to rebuttal the inerrant and incomplete claim that they pay death claims and the fastest, that they're the best at it. It's marketing bullshit, to be frank with you. And the reality is all insurance carriers contest within 2-year period of the date of the application or the effective date. I don't know which one it is actually, one or the other. And it doesn't matter who it is, what the claim is. They're going to do that. But after that, they all have to pay. And they all pay as generally just as fast enough to do the job that one carrier is not going to have an outright advantage over the others. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope this has given you some perspective. My name again is David Duford. I'm the owner of Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Of course, I welcome you to watch all the videos that I have on YouTube. Check out the articles I have written that are all over my website. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you thought what I have to say was useful and informative. And make sure you subscribe to my video if you haven't already, or subscribe to this page, and so you can get all the new videos that I release, usually 1 to 2 every week. And again, David Duford checking out, and thanks so much for listening as always.